Alrighty, so we had Bitcoin obviously make its way down to the 15Ks, which is crazy. For me, it's sort of in the middle of a range now. It's stopped in a weird sort of place. But this is the big concern, guys. We're about 3 hours away. I think it's 2.5 hours away from CPI. And we have had the stock markets rallying up over the last few days. We obviously had the crypto markets doing the complete opposite. It's crazy to see how the titans are falling now and how we're starting to get this massive reaction in the crypto markets. The big thing is crypto stopped at 15K, right? 15K area is where Bitcoin stopped. Now we have this problem that we are facing going into CPI. Because we've had this trend going up in the stock market over the last few days. And now all of a sudden we are sitting at a very critical stage stock market wise. If news does not come out good today, we can be seeing a retracement from the stock market. Now, we've been getting a crazy reaction from crypto. The problem is if the stock market makes its way down now, it's just going to add more fuel to the fire. And ultimately, we are waiting to see capitulation. We're waiting to see where is buying interest from Bitcoin. We've marked it out to the areas of the 12K, these sort of areas. Is there an offload position? I think that's the big one. Will we have a slight little pump first and then go another leg down? Big question. But if the stock market loses this level now, you can be looking at a 6 to 10% drop in the stock market. And if we look at where Bitcoin is currently at 16K, this could be a big catalyst of getting it down to the 10K. Hopefully capitulating to the 10K. Guys, either way, I'm going to go through Bitcoin for you guys. Let's get ready for CPI. This might create another big leg from Bitcoin to the downside. I'll go through altcoins for you guys and let's have a massive show. Josh, hit the button. Let's get into it.
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? How are we feeling? I'm feeling bruised. I'm feeling extremely bruised. I think it's that. Is this real? It's not even the pain feeling yet. I thought when I'd see this day of the markets collapsing this much, it would feel horrible. I'm still in that like disbelief phase of like, is this really true? Like we were so different 3-4 days ago. But yeah, we fight another day, guys. If you're brand new, smash the subscribe button. If you're part of the family, smash the like button. Remember, guys, if you are part of the family, part of the crew, remember, if you do sign up with our exchange links below, BitGet's our sponsor, BYBIT's our sponsor, OKX is our sponsor. We do have their sign up links below in the description. And if you do sign up with that, it does give you VIP access to our Discord. It does give you many different perks. We have trading competition. We have everything going down. But I don't want to focus too much on that at all. Last one, guys, for me. Please go. I've been getting tons of love on my personal channel. Please go hit the subscribe button over there. Sheldon the Sniper. I'm over 20,000 views on my last video. So thank you so much. That is the side where I'm there sharing the mental side and saying, guys, let's not quit. It's been hard. I've been here a few times now. I've seen these crazy dumps, but I've still managed to make it happen personally. And I believe that every single one of us can. So please share lots of love and definitely, I appreciate all of the support over there. So, guys, let's jump on. So, first, short time frame. Let me go through Bitcoin quick, and then we'll jump through to the high time frame. Then let's look at the stock markets and look at what's happening. Love to you, brother. Love to you. We keep fighting. We keep fighting. We don't stop. So, what we're getting right now, guys, is we didn't get a crazy reaction. End of the day, you want to see these massive pin bars. You want to see price go down, get bought up really quick. And for me, on the 1 hour, this is a little push up. It's not something that's showing me reversal just yet. We do have bearish divergence forming where we have a high over here a lower high, but we're starting to get a higher high in RSI. So it's just giving us an indication that we are getting a slight bounce in the area, and we bounce around 15K 600, but it's not tremendously strong bounce. It's not a crazy bounce that we're actually looking for. We're looking for at least not bearish divergence. That's one of the big things. But ultimately, we are looking for a candle that goes extremely fast and gets bought up in the matter of seconds, 2 minutes, and all of a sudden puts us back. It basically raises all the damage. So you get these candles where you get this massive downside and this big push, and then all of a sudden you hit the area, and we've seen it a few times, especially going into the previous bull market in 2020, where we get all this damage and literally it gets evaporated by one big buy order because finally we have hit interest at a specific area. Obviously now we have lots of FUD. We have a lot of people worrying. We have FTX, suspending withdrawals, all of these things, Sam Bankman-Fried. So there's a lot of terrible FUD in crypto at the moment. And for me, I asked the question this morning to the guys. I'm like, why are we getting all of this now? I still would never doubt that crypto's got a huge future in the world. I do. But I kind of feel that they wanted to get rid of the big titans first, the guys that are running. Because what was the problem with crypto? It was getting run by these young billionaires coming into the space, controlling a lot of power. So for me, it's like, let's get the big dogs off. Let's get the normal, what do you want to call it? The normal market into it, the normal control. Let's regulate crypto, and then let's continue. So for me, it's crazy to see we had the DogeCoin. We had Sam Bankman-Fried getting ripped at these times, but I still feel that there's a big future for crypto. It's everywhere in this world, and I still think it's not doom. It's not the end of crypto, in my opinion, at all. And I'm still 100% fully invested. We keep keeping on. How are we feeling out there, guys? It's crazy. I know it's been a war. And one thing I do want to clarify for you is it doesn't matter where you are in crypto. If you small wallets or you big wallets or you big whales, everyone suffers at these times. Everyone. Look at Sam Bankman-Fried with $16 billion, all of a sudden losing over 95% of his wealth in days. Same with DogeCoin. Same with a lot of guys. This is a time where we all get smashed together. It's one of those freak things, and we just got to remember that we are through this together. Deja vu. We've been here before. So let's get on here, guys. Right now, it's not looking strong. This is not a bounce for me. If we go look at the higher time frames on where randomly we stopped, there's no crazy support here either. We did crack, lower than this previous second high over here yesterday. So for me, it's not a wall that's being held right now. It is something that we've shot through. And as soon as you shoot through it, for me, it's already shown weakness of that wall. And that's not an incredible strong wall. We have the strong wall that's sitting the next one where we have 1, 2, 3, 4 previous tops showing us the next support levels. And this is basically between the 10K to the 12K area. And for me, where we stopped yesterday and not seeing the bounce that I really want, it's probably the area that we're still definitely going to. And if we have a drop in stock markets, which I'll go through shortly, it's probably what's going to take us there. Now, the only little sense of hope, because right now the question is, what do I do? What do we do through these times? The only area for me that I could possibly offload a little bit will be around 18K if somehow we had to go there before the drop. If somehow we would get a little test of these previous lows that we held for so long, and then the damage comes in. But right now, it all depends. If stock markets does hold that support area and we get that little push up, maybe it gives us that push to 18 and you can make a decision of possibly protecting yourself. Because we can't deny, if we look at MATIC and we look at some of the altcoins, they have bounced okay-ish. And there might be some sort of offload opportunity to farm a bit more tokens. But either way, we are big 50%, I'd probably say, through the damage. And we're probably looking at another big leg to the downside and getting us down to the 10K. Now, what I want to see here is what I spoke about yesterday, is I want to see that big candle down. I actually want to see in this week. And I think we got to be looking at a capitulation candle weekly. Daily does not really matter right now. We want to know in the very high time frames, where the hell could the bottom be for Bitcoin? And when are we finally going to get some big interest? And we got to go to the really high time frames to this. And we do know it's the support area over here. But ultimately, I think the best thing is today, CPI gets bad, stock markets can have a strong correction, and crypto tanks. Absolutely tanks down to these areas. I think between 10 and 12, we'll get some sort of strong reaction. And ultimately, what we would love to see is we go down to 10 to 12K and we get bought straight back up to 15, 16, anywhere K in that area, forming that long wick. If we could possibly get even higher back to 18K, that would finally give us that strong capitulation candle. Right now, guys, everyone is asking the question, but we have asked these questions many times before. Why would any big guys buy now? What would be the reason of buying right now? But what I do think is, I remember that same question being asked when Bitcoin was 3K after the stock market, after the COVID crash and all these things. Who's going to buy? Who's going to buy? Who's going to buy? All of a sudden, someone buys. And, we just got to keep that. The best thing now is fundamentals are not going to tell you where to buy. They're going to tell you after, if market goes back to 20K, now this is why it happened. The best thing now is with TA, it's just marking the possible levels of where this can go and prep for the worst. That's ultimately where we can get. But what we want here is, I want to see the level of buying. They have been speaking about the 10K for a very long time. And I think, for the longevity of crypto, I think that level should be held. I think it goes to 10K quick, maybe even 9K, very fast, gets ugly very quickly. But then we see that really strong wick and that strong capitulation candle. Then we can finally have, a little bit of relaxation. And at least we have a level now where we have interest, because now it's scary. It's scary that we're not getting interest. We didn't get the last bit of interest here. We did have some interest here over the last few weeks where it was holding pretty well. But right now it's like, why are we not getting any interest? And it gets extremely scary. And that's why when there's no big whale volume buying at these areas, is why price can just keep breaking through these levels. And it just creates this crazy acceleration in price, making its way down. Now, let's look at quickly stock markets before I go into some of the altcoins. First thing that we have before I go into stocks is we do have the USDT, which basically double topped, right? Now, for me, this isn't a rejection. We're going to speak about Solana now, because the tokens have been unlocked and it's quite scary on what can happen with Sol now. And we'll go through that shortly. But the USDT dominance now, we basically hit a double top. There's no big reversal in this area, and we basically 5% away from the USDT dominance in all-time high territory. So it just shows the influx right now, that the panic has started so much that everyone's going into stables right now, and we might even have the USDT dominance breaking all-time high, which is just not good again. Why? Because now there's no more levels on where this can go, and that's the crazy thing. You could have this going up to 12%. Now, there's been questions, guys, and I think it's something you need to be very aware of, because we're sitting in the same boat here. And I suppose this is where Bitcoin has come into the big question that, even though Bitcoin is volatile, for me, it's always been the safest asset in crypto. Now, people are asking USDT. What happens if USDT depegs? What happens if USDC depegs? It's a scary question, guys, because I have a lot of these assets as well sitting in wallets and these sort of things. And it's very scary on where you can shift, because now we're starting to get the cracks and we're starting to get the titans falling now. Where do you store your damn money? And ultimately for me, if we go down to those areas and we start getting any sort of concern with USDT or USDC, Bitcoin will always be my safe haven, even though it's taking a loss by selling from cryptos into Bitcoin at that stage. I still got to remember where Bitcoin is on a high time frame. Very big question. But just be aware out there, guys. Stay strong on Twitter. Stay strong on these things, because if you start getting guys, if we have a USDT depegging or something like that, it's probably one of the worst things that could happen. Like, it's really something that could happen crazy. So please make sure you're aware and you're on Twitter, you're following the right accounts so you can get access very quickly, because, Run did 2 days before the FTX close of withdrawals. He did tweet, protect your funds in FTX, get them out. And now we've got a ton of people that haven't got their money out there. Guys, use Twitter and stuff. I know people you got to use these things to make this information, because this is the time where they're going to try hit everything. When you're having a bad day and something gets worse and then something gets worse, and you're like, why does it keep why? It doesn't rain, it pours. It's currently what we're busy with crypto at the moment, and it can definitely happen. So please be careful out there, guys. For me, Bitcoin is safe haven. It is safe haven, especially at these levels. We get down to the areas like safe haven for me. It does. It's got basically all the money. It will be probably the biggest crypto collapse if anything happens to USDT. It will be something big, but we have to be protected, guys. Now we know we can't trust anything anymore. We all thought Sol was going to be fantastic. The cracks, the FTT, FTX. Guys, we're watching the Cricket World Cup at the moment, and FTX is all over the field. It's all over the banners, but yet they're being shut down. It's absolutely crazy. So please, guys, just be aware of that. yeah, so we have that. And then the big question now is obviously we're going into CPI and we're sitting with the stock market currently on support right now. Now, the second thing is we are looking at quite a long resistance trend on the stock market. It's been doing really well. To be honest, it does not have its higher high though. So for me, if news comes back good today, stock market will probably rally up. I think what it does for crypto is it sends crypto up to or Bitcoin up to the 18, 19K possibly. And for me, that would be offload position. I still think the stock markets after this midterm elections, I still think whenever this little leg happens, this little pullback leg, I think the crypto market's gonna capitulate. I think that's when the crypto market makes its way down. So if the news is good today and we get a bounce in stock markets and we can break this trend and get a bit of momentum, it might give crypto that little push. Now, if Bitcoin does go to 18K, the altcoins will bounce pretty well because dominance is making its way down. You could see it over here that it's tanking. Dominance is tanking. So if there is some sort of bullish reaction from the stock market and a low bounce from Bitcoin, we should, obviously it makes sense. The altcoins have been absolutely destroyed, but it will send the altcoins up with a little bounce, maybe 50% of what that drop was over the last few days. And that could be an exit to get into safer assets as in Bitcoin, as in ETH through these times. And some USDT. I would diversify, guys. I would not have all my money in USDT if you're getting out of the markets or protecting yourself for these sort of things. I have some in USDT, some in USDC, some in Bitcoin. Like, I'm splitting up very much, very important. But this might give us the opportunity if the stock markets hold. Now, the stock markets fall from here is not good because we basically still have the Dixie holding the major trend. These were the things we said, this little push over here, but Dixie is one of the only ones that's been running up the whole year. He's still in trend. So if we have the stock market collapse today, Dixie is possibly even breaking resistance again and might even be going for a higher high and going higher than where we've been previously. So that's really bad news again. We look at the 10-year yield. If it breaks this resistance trend over here, the stock market's collapse, it's really bad again. So if we've got a terrible stock market as well throughout these times, it's just adding to the fact that capitulation for me, like the most brutalness, even though we've been through so much brutal with crypto, this will create a lot more brutal. The big question is, again, and I said it to you guys yesterday, opportunity or disaster. For me, if I only have to spend 5% of the capital that I've spent in crypto in total to double or triple my tokens, it's a no-brainer. I'm obviously going into a lot less tokens, but if I can triple to 5x my token amount in this drop by only spending 5 or 6% of my capital, then what I've spent in crypto before, it's a no-brainer for me, and I'm prepping for 10K. I think when Bitcoin gets to 10K, I'm buying any of the great alts. I'm buying any of that stuff because we're going to crazy levels. But you basically can look at the stock market from this area dropping around 6% to this area. But now let me show you how it could actually get worse, because if we drop this area, it's officially giving us a lower high on the way higher time frames. And if it's a lower high, it can mean that there's a lower low to come into play here. Now, maybe it's a support test and we only get damaged 6 to 10% in stock market. Yes. But what happens, because we can currently see that the stock market is forming a pattern. It's basically a reverse wedge. And what it basically means is the range is only getting bigger. So you could see it started off smaller, bigger. And if we get a lower high from here and we end up getting a massive acceleration down in the stock market, it's indicating an even bigger range move. And if you look at this, it could basically even give us the indication that from here, it's a possibility of a 20% downwards. Will this happen this year? We'll see. But ultimately, if things go really bad for stock market, you can be looking at 20% collapse in the futures, in the Dow. And that is obviously crazy. Now, the good thing that I can say, though, is I do think crypto and the stock markets have depegged for a while. Obviously, crypto is not bouncing and showing the strong push as the stock market right now, but it is following it when the stock market dumps. But I think it does not matter if the stock market does go another 15, 20% down, like we're going to really dive. I think if Bitcoin does get to the areas of 10K, any of these things, like I do think we will stay a little bit decoupled for now because they are slightly decoupled. And it's just a naughty week, it is. And I do think we'll still have that reaction. So even though stock market showing, it could really get ugly, for me, 10K and those sort of areas is still the capitulation area that I'm basically looking at. And a lot of guys have been speaking about it. I actually think support's around 13, 14K, but I think they're going to send a wick. They're going to send a wick completely. down to those areas. And I know there's a lot of big wallet liquidations sitting around 13,000. Is the Sailor liquidation? Oh, he said 3,000. Okay, at least a bit. Michael Saylor, what a machine. So be aware, guys. So ultimately, in about 2.5 hours or 3 hours from now, we have CPI, and you need to basically see that stock market holds this level. It is going to get really wild. It is going to get crazy. And I'm going to say this again: if the market capitulates and this tanks, you are not going to be able to get into your exchange and buy. It's going to be really, really, really hard. Everything's going to freeze. It's going to go crazy and wild again. Ethereum is probably going to go through the roof. The fees, like everything's just going to go absolutely wild again. So make sure you have limit orders. And for me, I have some limit orders at 10K for Bitcoin. And let's actually go through the altcoins and see where are these crazy levels that we can get to. ETH, again, for me, $700 to $800. $700 to $800 for me for ETH is limit orders areas for me. MATIC, I'll go through these very quickly, guys. MATIC, if the little push happens here, around $1, is still not bad to offload if you've got MATIC in good areas. Like MATIC's doing pretty well, but ultimately 40 cents, 50 cents, MATIC areas on a big capitulation, even possibly the 60 cents as that area. Let's go through like AVAX. AVAX for me goes to between $7 and $9. That's huge. So you can see the percentages that we could still be looking at if the market capitulates. Still another 20 to 30%. Now, guys, I know it is scary as hell, but I think maybe it's finally what we needed from crypto to just get the capitulator candle. Just get it done. Like, let's go down to these crazy levels so we could finally get big area. Fam luck at this area isn't so. Yeah, very true. Just keep in your mind again, guys. If you can spend 2, 3, 5% of the money you've ever spent in crypto, and you can buy 5 times or 3 times more tokens than what you have on each of your wallets, like just think about it, guys. Think about it. It's a crazy one. THETA, Mama Sniper's always been waiting for 80 cents. It's a possibility 80 cents. THETA is still holding strong. Let's speak about the big one, because this is a big concern. We have the Solana. So Solana right now, will Solana survive? I think is obviously the great big question. In my head, it should, but we don't know. It is dropping its next support as we speak. So for me, the support area was between $14, $16, $17. We're dropping it as we speak. And this is where it gets quite scary. Because the next support for Solana is basically $4 to the $5.50 range for Solana, which is absolutely insane. You're still possibly looking at an area of 50% to a 70% collapse of Solana. $4. Now, if it does survive, it's obviously the bargain of the century of getting it around $4. It's going to take a very long time for it to recover, because this is just obviously crazy amounts and a really big drop. But ultimately, you know, if you have a soul bag, it's very hard. It's a very hard decision now. You know, if you didn't sell and didn't manage to get out when things were getting quite ugly, it's a really big question to ask yourself now to get out. Now, you do have the possibility of the market. Let's say the numbers come out good today and you have the Bitcoin bounce, short-term bounce, because if there is a short-term bounce on Solana, you may get an area of possibly getting to $20 to just get your last little bit of assets out in it, because I still think max pain's got to come. And the fact that we've cracked it, it's not even like we even held. There's not even an attempt of anyone buying. We do have the unlock of the tokens, and they have to sell, right? They have to sell. So that's obviously a major concern. So if there's any possibility of, you know, $18 or $20 sold before the next collapse, that would be that. But other than that, guys, you got to make a decision here. If you can withhold, it's bad. It is really bad, but $4 to $5 is probably realistically on where Solana's going on this move. And it may even do something where it goes down, slide up, and maybe possibly we find out news later that it's the end of Sol. Like that's the craziest. I don't think so. What's your thoughts on the end? The tech hasn't changed. The team hasn't changed. Nothing's happened. Investment of Alameda. That's the problem. So $4 might be a crazy. I'd maybe do 0.5% or 1% of my portfolio and I'll buy crazy at that level, maybe at the area. But $4, it's actually crazy. But you still got to remember, like, does it so long sold? But you know, does it make sense that it can go to that price? Obviously, with what's happening, yes. But you got to remember that guys on RDOs and guys on these areas, you know, they got this token at cents. You know, so there's still people that are still like 300, 400x on their profits from the area. So it can go to that area. It definitely can. And maybe have some cash if it does. You can make the decision if it does. But Solana $4, to be honest. The next big one, FTT, I think going to zero, bro. It's a trading coin, but until we find out. So obviously now Binance are not being a part of it, and they obviously looked at it, and CZ's it's a smart man. They've applied for liquidation. Yeah, it's a big issue. It's a big issue. So FTT, yeah, Luna 2.0. It's dropped every single support that we have right now, and you know the next one's at 50 cents, and that's quite crazy. So FTT's are goners right now. We don't know what will happen. Maybe it can consolidate for a little while once all the damage is done, and we can come back to this later. But for now, it's a complete write-off, and it's destroyed everything. It's created the whole flip and dump, which we were quite annoyed by. Everything else, I still think Doge is coming slightly lower to the areas. And it looks like if we do have a capitulating, that it can come to around 6 cents. You know, opportunity or disaster is the question you can ask yourself. I still said Chainlink. If it does go $5 in these areas, everything's still 30% down, 25 to 30% down from where we are now. If everything capitulates, you know, DOT $4, Chainlink $6. Now, I'm going to say this again, guys. If we do capitulate properly, where we have this drop of 10K, and Bitcoin, let's say it does drop to 10K and it gets bought up all of a sudden to 15, 18K. You know, you could basically be looking at this with the altcoins. All of a sudden, Chainlink falls to $4 and it's back at $7 in a capitulation candle. Like, that's ultimately what it looks. So it does get damn scary, but the bounce can bring it back quite quickly, very quickly. Very fast as areas. So Chainlink for me is still one of the strong ones. It's only dropping supports as we speak right now. So like I said, orders, because to buy when this market capitulates is a problem. Everything basically freezes and it becomes really hard. So I would say around $4.5 I have whatever's left of some of my dollars in the areas that I'm putting limit orders. So Link, Doge, XRP. If you still have XRP, is still okay. It's basically 30 cents to 29 cents is the area. I'll do FTM for you guys now. Is where I sit limit orders for XRP Army. It's one of those that are not making a lower low right now, which is quite crazy. So Phantom, I think you're going to get it 6 to 7 cents. I do. I think if the market capitulates, like if you get Phantom at dude, this was $3.44, like $3.45, I think, in the bull market. And now you have the possibility, you know, opportunity or disaster, but ultimately you're probably looking around 7 to 8 cents. You know, 6 to 8, I'd probably say is the area to have some limit orders, and that's crazy for Phantom. You know, you might even offload off the capitulation candle because you'll just make, you know, one of the things, guys. Do me a favor, even if it's 1% or 2% of capital you've ever put into crypto, if the market capitulates and you can build a portfolio there, you'll be very shocked because you'll be able to offload on that capitulation candle itself. You'll be very shocked what that little portfolio can do. It can pump quickly, and possibly out of that on the next push up, you know, we're maybe looking at free in bags on these sort of things. But if you get Phantom, think about this. Let me show you here. If you put 1% or 2% of the capital you put in, and all of a sudden Phantom makes its way down here, another 50% down from where we are, goes to around 7 cents, and then back to 30 cents. You know, it's a 4x. It's a 4x. You know, ultimately, you look at your other portfolio, the one that's been bleeding and going through the war. I'm basically doing it like that because it's making me sane. Like, it's making me not go crazy. If I'm starting a whole new portfolio, like a whole new one on this capitulation, just so it makes me feel a little bit better. So I have one portfolio that's ripping, and have the other big one that's obviously still bleeding throughout the last year or two. But I still feel, you know, if you're not getting anything on those capitulations, like, how are you going to recover and how are you going to build again if you're not taking advantage of these crazy levels? It is ugly, it is messy, but we have had this before, and, you know, like we said, it's always been big opportunities areas. So Phantom to those areas. I see the tokens that we were buying, Nakamoto, PBX, Scallop, they're sort of at our entry. So the small caps have been doing pretty good. Like, look how the bigger caps have been falling more than our small caps. So I'm pretty happy with those portfolios, and they're holding pretty good. Cardano, 20 cents. Crazy. Cardano is still in the game. I don't think there's any problems there at all. So Cardano, AVAX, as we spoke about, Algo, ETH $700-800. BNB is obviously one big. I think you'll get this early $200. Exactly. Scary but exciting. 1% of the money, guys. Like, just think of it like that. It's not unrealistic anymore to build a fucking badass. This market tanks. It's one of the biggest tanks ever. Everything's like 98% off. If you can build some sort of portfolio there, you're smart as hell. And people say, is it realistic? I don't have money anymore. Like 1%, 5% of the money you put in. Like, come on. Like, you know, these are the areas. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it if we do get these crazy levels. It does happen, but not too often at all. So BNB around early $200 areas. Guys, give me some tokens. Give me some tokens. Let me help you guys out here. A0, so many opportunities. You have to think of it like that, guys. If you're going to keep beating yourself up, keeping pissed off at the market, like NEAR protocol. Let's go through NEAR. NEAR, for me, yeah, the support's 1.3 to 1.4. 1.3 to 1.4. Rune. Ooh, I haven't looked at the Rune chart. What's the Rune chart showing here? What's THORChain showing here? It's at $1. So let's go look. Where is support? So we have support at it's basically between 80 cents and $1. Is that support? There is one more support at around 60 cents. Oh, if you can get THORChain at 60 cents, like that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy if you can get it at 60 cents. Let's draw this out here. So you have one in this area here, small dollar costing area. But ultimately, if you can get the 65, and remember, guys, if these are support areas, like go slightly higher, just a little bit higher, because it may go just before to not hit your entries, like slightly higher, so you can make sure you do get your buys in these areas. And I'd be setting them as limit orders. As I say, you're not going to be able to get your buys. Atom, let's go through Atom. Give me your coins, guys. Let's go through them. Let's go have a look. Atom, wow, Atom's done pretty well. Look at it compared to the rest. The rest are all looking at making lower lows, but you could sort of see the clear area of Atom in these areas is around $7 to the $8 is support. Vet's been doing okay. Like it's been hit. It can go slightly lower to around, let's have a look, 1.6 to 1.7. But a lot of the altcoins are showing a 35% or 30% drop, possibly. VET for me showing a 20 to 25% drop. But for me, VET's going to be the one that bounces hard. Whenever we capitulate, VET will be back at the levels of where it was pretty quickly, in my opinion. It's just one that's looking incredibly strong. And it's about what bounces hard. You know, you're getting them cheap and stuff, but what's going to be the ones that bounce hard on a capitulated candle? So VET's still good for me. Wow. Jeez, I've been through A0. I don't know much about this token, guys. I know many have spoken about it, and I've heard it's a good investment token to invest for the long period. But this, look at the chart, guys. It hasn't been that long. Like, it's a guess. You know what I mean? Put an order at 20 cents. I don't know. There's not much on that at all. Kusama. But that's the thing, guys. I know a lot of people like speak about fundamentals now and why the market's crashing. Fundamentals not going to tell you where to buy. Like I know TA is basically looking at levels and stuff, but it gives you something on levels and where to buy. What's fundamentals going to give you? Like it's going to give you nothing. You know what I mean? It's not going to give you anywhere of where to dollar cost. You gotta have the power of both. Kusama is $27, bro. Woo! Yeah, we've been through war. Oh, okay. So it looks like early 20s for Kusama. That's the lowest data that we got. Kusama was, bro. This was $600 token. You have the opportunity of getting around 20. That's crazy. What's this other one? Arweave is always, fundamentally it's going to be here. Yeah, Ran definitely is massive on Arweave, and he backs it. He's got a big position. We don't know what it's worth. So Arweave, it might even go lower, bro, than that. But basically, you got support around $7. I'd probably play around $5 to be safe. You know, if you do buy those areas. Luckily, with this sort of capitulation and stuff, we will. It's not just gonna, you'll get that ugly capitulation candle, but we will settle at some point, and we'll get some more trend breaks at a later stage. For now, you're just trying to catch absolute bargains. That's ultimately it, and then we'll have the confirmation trades at a later stage. Oh, some of these tokens I haven't seen in a while. Comp. Let's have a look at comp. Bro. Like this stuff is absolutely. So you got one more low in comp, obviously around 2028. To be honest, like a lot of these tokens that are so close to the near are going to break them. So I would probably be looking, $10, $15. I know comp's good. But we don't have any more data after this, and if they're so close to the low already, if Bitcoin goes down another 20% or 30%, these things are going to go down another 40% in these areas. So probably early 20s, between the $15 and $20 mark is probably the areas. Could you? I'll get that. I don't really have it. Why is USDT depegging? Why would it be?
It's such a rough. I don't know if it's worry about.
It's not anything to worry about. Why? But why would what would make the USDT capitulate like a depeg? Selling out of it.
Yeah.
So buying.
USDC.
So buying.
Yeah, buying USDC.
Okay, basically shifting in between each other.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on it, guys. Diversify. It's one of the biggest lessons I can give you guys. Diversify. Have some USDC, have some USDT, have Bitcoin. Like diversify. We don't know. I'm not saying anything. Like USDT's always been there and be strong. There is no depeg, but there is a big problem if it does. So if there's a big influx all of a sudden outside, like where everyone just gets out of USDT very quickly, we can have a big issue. We can't say there's no debug or there's no things. I thought FTT we could have no collapse. I thought Luna we could have no collapse. Like, yes, we can. So be very careful. Okay, what else we got here? I'll do 2 more. Render. Still one of the okay. Render, as we said, 30 cent mark. Dollar costing. Dots I spoke about dot waves. That's it, guys. That's it. I'll do more tomorrow. Let's get CPI out. Be prepared for it. Make sure you've diversified your portfolio. Set your limits, orders in, and let's just get this damn capitulation done with. Go to 10K Bitcoin for the first time. I'll say it. Go to 10K and go back to 20 in one day, please, so we can continue. Got your back, guys. Love you all. Let's keep fighting the war, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love, man, fam.